Aretha Franklin was an American soul singer. She was dubbed the Queen of Soul, and she was hugely successful and influential. She grew up singing in Baptist church circles. She was soloing by the age of 12 and touring with her father, who was a traveling preacher and acted as her manager. She got a recording contract at the age of 18 in 1960 and has recorded many records, done many concerts, received many accolades and awards, and died at the age of 76 in 2018. She had a somewhat turbulent life. She conceived her first child at age 12. She had four children in total and two marriages, and a lifelong struggle with weight issues. But she was also known for her activism for race and women's rights and for Indigenous peoples around the world. Hi, my name is Dan. So this was a live album by Aretha Franklin, and it's my first listen to this album. It was recorded over 3 nights at the famous Fillmore West in San Francisco, which is a concert venue. And apparently, they deliberately included some stuff in the sets to appeal to a more hippie audience because of it being San Francisco. Aretha plays electric piano on several of the tracks, and she's backed by King Curtis's band, which include the Memphis Horns. And she's joined for the last two tracks on the album by Ray Charles. Mostly, this is songs that I know. Um, Quite a few of them are covers. There are a couple of tracks towards the end that were written by Aretha. But I mean, her best known song, "Respect," is the first track on the album. Um, but then there's an interesting selection of covers. There's a really good cover of "Bridge Over Troubled Waters" by Simon and Garfunkel, and there's an almost unrecognisable version of Eleanor Rigby. It's So I tend to listen to these albums twice as I'm reviewing, and the first time through I didn't clock that it was Eleanor Rigby. But the second time through, after I'd read a track list and read a bit more about the album, I knew that it was meant to be on there somewhere, and so I kept my ears open and found it on that time. It's a mix of soul and R&B, but definitely of a kind of late 60s, early 70s kind. This may mean something to quite a lot of people. It's definitely reminiscent of the Blues Brothers music from the Blues Brothers film. The track Dr. Feelgood, which is one of the later tracks, is very blues, but all the way through there's a huge gospel influence in it. In fact, soul was meant to be a blending of gospel and a few other things, but the gospel element is really strong in this album. The band are absolutely incredible on this album. The feel that they give to the music is just so alive. The rhythm section in particular are grooving, but the horns are great as well, and some of the piano playing, the electric piano and stuff is it's just yeah, it's really got that soul. So there's no doubt at all that Aretha can sing. She's got a really strong voice, very accurate and very expressive. She's got a particular style that she's known for, which is a very jazz style, but she, more than many, she messes about with the tune. She sings behind where you would expect her to sing in time. So the chords are kind of going and she sings the tune quite a little bit later. And she kind of weaves in and around. And often, if the backing singers are singing something that's more like what you might expect tune to be, and what she's singing is kind of ornamentation for that. So the backing singers pretty much give the backbone to it, and she treats her voice like an improvisational instrument um, in kind of jazz circles, and it's quite an amazing performance that she's got here. Her showwomanship is incredible for the whole thing. So that includes the singing, but also includes her bits of talking in between. And the album's just very, very good. I would say it's a really good confluence. I feel proud of myself for getting a word like confluence in. The confluence of skill and soulful feeling in the music, both in the singing and in the instruments. And there are times when I talk about modern soul. So I kind of think that most soul after about 1980 has lost something. And I think what it's lost is the soul to it. And this is the kind of the other end. This is if anybody wants to know what I mean when I say that, listen to this album. This album has that soul in absolute bucket loads. It's brilliant. I was moved at times, sometimes deeply. It's good music I found to wash up to. I was really getting into it and having a really good time. I would say less good to drive to, and the reason it's too immersive. And so I was actually just getting a little bit too distracted when I was driving and listening to this album. So um, yeah, it is a truly amazing album. I've never heard it before. I did these reviews. Discovering stuff like this is exactly why I set out on this journey to review these albums. I'm looking for these amazing albums that I love kind of instantly, or, discover new things that I haven't known about before. And I really, really recommend this album to anybody who likes R&B of an older style or soul. It's just, yeah, it's really good. So obviously, I love it, and I'd love to know what you think of this album. So please do tell me by leaving a comment in the comments box. That's it from me for now.